Gosta de fazer orgia, essa novinha que tá na Holanda. Gosta de fazer orgia, você tá em cima da piroca, 24 horas por dia. Você levanta por cima da piroca.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of OsoTalksPod. I am Jose, also known as Oso Blanco 83. My co-host, the fabulous Miss Jazz.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. One of a really good topic, actually. I know I was excited and telling everybody about this episode, and they were like, "What? You watched that?" I'm like, "Hello, this show is amazing." You have comedy, drama, of course, political issues. Everything dealing with individuals and an actual event that happened that we are connected to. So, pretty awesome. How do you feel about this topic today, Oso?
Today we're doing MASH, one of my favorites, non-sci-fi sitcoms, shows, whatever you want to call them. For people who don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know about MASH. Well, it's an old show, but it's MASH for the 4077. It's in the Korean War. It's based on the actual record of the 8063rd, which they actually mentioned on the show. So it's kind of true story type, situation where they actually had the highest living rate for soldiers who were injured or civilians that were caught in the crossfire that came through there. I think it was in the high 90s, the high 90% percentile of living if you were treated at this MASH unit. So MASH, I believe it's called a Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. I think that's what the acronym is for. It started off as a movie, and then it was big enough hit that they decided to throw it into a series. It dealt with a lot of political stuff. Some of the episodes, a lot of it is just, put a group into a situation where there's not that much breathing room, and shit's gonna happen. The personalities are really gonna flare up. Personally, one of my favorite characters. Well, I can't even say favorites because the whole ensemble at one point or another was my favorite character. Like their development as their characters developed is great. The storylines were great. But if I had to pick one, it would either be Alan Alda as Hawkeye, or I forget his real name. The character's name was BJ Honeycutt.
Oh yeah.
So if you watch the series, you put those two together in a room, and somebody's gonna laugh at something. Somebody's gonna say something they're not supposed to say, and shit's gonna hit the wall. But it's a good show. I liked it. It was funny because it actually, the last episode aired, I believe, a week or two before after I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting that a show that literally ended when I came into this world ended up being one of my favorite shows.
I get that.
But today we're gonna have a couple of
clips.
Top episodes, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take it from there. Like we'll see what.
I would definitely say, just to make sure the audience is aware. So this show is quite old. This started, I believe, it's based in the 50s and was in the 50s. Um, Not in the 50s. I'm sorry, in the 80s.
It was
Uh,
like the early 70s to like the early
yeah,
80s.
70s.
I think
Yeah,
they went like 12 seasons,
yeah. So it's kind of
11 or 12
hard.
seasons.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to get like any clips from it with like super good audio or anything like that. So like all the clips are pretty much from fans that love the show. As somebody who's not really like for myself, anyhow, is like I love the show for many different reasons. It was not only is it a drama and chaos, sometimes you're just like you're dealing with things. I think I was watching a few episodes yesterday, earlier today, and it was they wanted to get a medical device, and the military's like, "Nah, we're not giving you that, but we can get you a pizza oven." And they're like, "But this is medical equipment. We
The
need it." The
It was the
incubator.
incubator, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was the incubator. Yeah, we're talking with the guy from requisitions. They're like, oh yeah, well, that's not part of your basic equipment list.
yeah,
They come off with it because they're always being sarcastic, but like, it's not like
yeah,
we're asking for a pizza oven. The guy just
yeah,
randomly like, oh, that I can let you have.
yeah. And
But
no,
of course, I believe it was Henry,
yeah,
the
that's
commanding
true.
officer. They were like, oh, well, how do we get one of those?
Yeah,
He really jumped on
yeah.
getting pizza.
But that was even more insane though, because like they were like, yeah, so when you fill out those whatever forms, that you just cross out machine gun and you just put
Yeah,
pizza machine. And
yeah.
it's just
You went
like,
right out,
what?
cross off the machine gun, put pizza oven. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
just put pizza oven. It's just
ridiculous.
like it's easier for you to get the things you don't need because I think they were saying, "Oh yeah, that's a luxury." And they were like, "This is not a pizza
Right.
oven. We don't need that." He's like, "Oh yeah, I can get you a pizza oven." And the fact that they went through all the channels to the fact that they found another military base that had three of them, not even using them, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." They go above their heads. And they're like, they go to the person and they're like, "Yeah, I'll sell it to you for $1,000 in cash." So again, it goes into like I like the fact that it shows real world situations. It's not just like a show where you just feel like it's fluff. It's not just fake. It's not just this is the military, everything is great because sometimes people are going to be fucking wild, bro. They're going to be wild, they're going to be crazy, but this show touches so many different levels of a person's soul. Like we're gonna go through it now. Like I know that one of my favorites is like Hell is Hell and War is War. That's a good one. um, what was the other one? There's like a few. We're gonna get into it. But what did you want me to show first?
It doesn't matter. We can
Okay,
go.
so we're just gonna break into.
Any of them.
So let's start off a little. That's the last one. Okay, not the wooden soldier. I'm trying not to get so fucking dark, but this is explain this episode.
Which one is this?
This is the wounded soldier that he thinks he's Jesus.
Okay. So in the scene right here, you have the Padre. Right here is Honeycutt Hawkeye. Then you have Sidney Freeman, the psychiatrist, and the father. This soldier actually, received head trauma and believes he's actually Jesus Christ the Lord. And they're
Hmm.
trying to figure out if he's just trying to, dodge it so that he can get out of the army because a lot of people want to get out. And uh, like a mental breakdown will be the easiest way out. So they brought in the psychiatrist to try to talk to him to see if it's a legit breakdown, if he actually thinks who he is.
Yep.
Let's start the scene from the beginning again.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
Okay. So unfortunately, this one's one of the lower ones. Um, just as Jose was saying, just like Oso was saying, is like this is Sydney. The gentleman here with the uniform on, he is the psychiatrist or the or psychiatrist, and he's talking to this gentleman who, of course, has an identity that everybody knows because they work together in the army. But he believes himself now to be Jesus Christ, and he asks himself a few different questions, and he's just like, "That's kind of suspicious." Like one thing I would say about Sydney, his job is to like break down the layers of a lot of the unit individuals, the personnel, but he's never a dickhead about it. You know what I
No,
mean? Especially like
he
when he deals
goes
with Klinger, like if he deals with Klinger, he's like, "You're wearing a dress. I see this. I saw a guy act like a cockroach for like 3 months. You're fine. Like, yeah, you
right,
wear a
right.
dress. Get over it." You know, because he tried to put that he was insane, which is again not accurate. You know, not politically correct now. But like again, these were things people were doing in the military to not be a part of the Korean War. They didn't want to be in the war, and they were forced to. So these, certain individuals were doing that, and that's why it was such a necessity to make sure the shit was debunked.
All right. Well, let's skip to another episode.
Yeah. Okay. So
I
let's.
think you have a second video for that one. For the bless you, Walter.
No, I don't have that one. I have Farewell Amen, which is the one with it's one of the last episodes. I want to play this one. I think this one might be. Oh, bless you. No, that's a one after. This is right after they were having. Yeah, this is louder.
Oh, okay. When he got sick. Okay, yeah, I remember that
Yeah, he
episode.
got sick. So, disclaimer, guys, trigger warning. This is a heavy, heavy, heavy. Anything with Sydney, honestly, is going to be a little heavy sometimes.
Right. It's
So
because of
he's gonna.
that particular episode.
Mhm,
He actually ended up getting soaked, and it actually triggered a buried trauma that he had
mhm.
from when he was a child, where I believe either it was a friend or his older
Cousin.
brother that actually ended up pushing him into the lake, and he almost drowned. And he suppressed that memory, and then when he ended up here, kept getting sicker and sicker, so they had to bring in Friedman to talk about it.
Mhm. One thing, beautiful, amazing acting here. Just gonna put that out. So I'm gonna
Oh yeah,
play the
out of all
episode
those,
now.
he's top rated.
Oh, top. But anyway, here we go. That was a good
so that's the episode, the pretty much the consensus on like what happened to him.
Mhm.
The final break of him actually remembering everything. And it's it's one of the more heavy episodes for sure.
Oh, definitely. But
yeah, for when Freeman usually comes in, they also have him with when he does the episodes are usually called Dear Sigmund. So he kind of like his way of like de-stressing and you know like getting everything done. He writes letters to Sigmund Freud, which by at that point is dead. But it really, I guess, helps him to like declutter from all the stuff that it's some of the episodes, especially the finale, which is like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours long. Uh, it's a lot. It's a very uh, it'll hit the feelings. But then when what actually happens in that episode comes to light, it really it'll mess you up. But they work it out and they talk through it, but yeah, Alan Alda definitely great actor. So I think the next one would be let's try to do if you have like a highlight of some of the most moments.
yeah, just give me a minute. I'm working on something.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, for future projects, since tomorrow is October, Halloween season, spooky season, we're going to try to do a couple episodes more like Halloween related. So we're going to try to do that. Also, going to try to do some episodes with more a uh, Latin, Puerto Rican flavor to it, you could say. More about the culture and stuff like that.
Because it is Hispanic Latino Heritage Month.
That is
So
yes, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. But actually, I don't know. I'm torn between these things because to have things for a month is ridiculous. It's Hispanic Heritage year round.
but I think that's for everything. I just think it's kind of shitty how we have ours like split up in a month. So is it really a month? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it used to be originally back when I was in like grade school, it was a whole month. Now
Yeah.
it's like 2 weeks and then it's 2 weeks of something else.
No, no,
But
no.
it's
For
still part
us,
of the month.
it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks in September and 2 weeks in October.
Well,
So, but it's
it's
also, but like
still
I said, all months, all like heritage type months or history months, black and brown people are also mixed in with other things,
right. And
unfortunately. But
it's
it's
ridiculous
always
because
celebrate yourself all the time.
like people have said before, like it's Black history is American history, Latin history is American history because we're all in this country. We all
Yeah.
had a part in the development of this
Well,
country.
you know, the
It's
white man's
all
not going to have
American
us
history.
have that. White
But
man's
that's
not going
another
to have
show.
us.
That's another hot
That's
topic.
that's another show. It's just gonna be us bitching about that shit. But like real talk, celebrate who you are, your culture, your nationality, whatever, all year round. That's it. But yeah, your cooking video, because you made a cooking video. And that's actually
Yes.
should be up soon on YouTube.
Yeah, made a
Um,
simple, pretty much. If any Puerto Ricans, it's the Puerto Rican juice, basically. We
mhm.
put it in everything. It's like when
Yeah,
people say about hot sauce, they put that shit on everything. We put
yeah,
sofrito in everything.
on everything.
If we get
It's
away with
good.
putting it in the bowl of cereal, we put it
Nah,
in the
fuck
bowl of cereal.
that. That's too far. I'm
But
not doing that shit. If that's
yeah, but it
super
won't
Puerto
work.
Rican, I'm
That's
not.
the
I'm
only, that's
not.
the only way it won't work. Like it won't work.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
we can
yeah.
find a way to make it work, we put that shit in there.
True. Oh gosh. Yeah, but
But yeah, it's a simple recipe. It's the way I make it. Everybody makes it different. That's the one thing about cooking. You can We all call everything the same. We all make it different.
Yeah.
As long as it's good and you like the way it tastes, it's all that matters.
Yeah. Good, 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 good. All right. So you want to get into another episode?
Yeah.
So I want to do. Okay, so I probably want to do Bless You Hawkeye because that is like about 4 minutes. Everything is pretty long. I do have when Colonel Blake passes. They get the news.
Oh yeah. Well, let's do the Bless You Hawkeye then the Blake one. Because the Blake
Okay.
one is crazy.
Okay. So we can.
Now, what are you kidding?
I know. Bless You Hawkeye is the one you just did. My bad.
Okay,
I'm
well, let's do
thinking of. Wait a minute.
Blake.
Oh no. I'm thinking the Goodbye, Farewell, Amen.
Well, that's the ending.
Yeah, that's the ending one. So
Yeah,
we
so let's
have
do
War
the
is
Blake.
Hell. Winchester when he's saying goodbye, when he actually catches up with the guys he was teaching how to do Mozart.
Yeah, that's at the final episode. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll do Colonel Blake first.
Yeah. So this episode, Henry Blake got enough points. He got his rotation to go home. So basically, the whole episode is him pretty much saying goodbye to everybody, and his last words to everybody. And he gets into the chopper and then he takes off. So I'm gonna leave it there because it's pretty self-explanatory.
Radar, put a mask on. If that's my discharge, give it to me straight. I can take it.
I have a message. Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It's Bunyan. There were no survivors.
Okay, so the thing about this ending, it was not scripted. Outside of what Radar said, it was not scripted. They literally told the cast, "We're gonna do one more shot. Everybody get into surgical gear and act like you're doing surgery." They told Radar what to say. They set them in. So that look on their faces, it's not acting. It's 100% their reaction to the news.
Yeah.
That one tool dropping in the background is freaking perfect.
Yeah. I would definitely say. Sorry,
they have like a lot of the shows like this usually have like the plot armor, like the fan favorites. They're never gonna get hurt. They're not gonna die. They're gonna go home. And they decided with Henry Blake that okay, somebody has to die.
Yeah.
So they ended up actually killing him.
Yeah.
But it's their reaction in that episode it's great.
Yeah, I think with this show, especially because it is a medical show, some of the best scenes are with the staff, right? That we know, all the favorites. But I think all my favorite and most powerful scenes come from the surgical tables. Like I couldn't find the clip, but there was this one where they got the news that the war was going to end, that they were going to make a truce or whatever it was. And they broke it down and they put it over the intercom while they're in surgery because they're doing their job. They're still doing a thing. And it's like a brief countdown. And then it says like the war is over, officially over. And the room goes silent for a second, but still keeps working because they're still got a job to do. They're not out. They're still taking care of the men and women who have been affected by this war.
Right. It got to the point where the armistice was officially signed, and then they told them hostilities will officially end like in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So once that 12-hour hit, like that's when everything stopped. Like, and you can hear it that they were in a surgical process
Mm-hmm.
when they're being shelled, and then all of a sudden it stops,
Yeah.
and then that's it. And they come over to PA and they say, "That's the sound of peace."
Yeah. And there's nothing. They're still working because they still got shit to do.
Yeah, they just like everybody stops and they're in shock, and then okay, back to work.
Yep.
Because they're still trying to get the last pieces of land, and there's still fighting going on and shooting, so there's still victims, and they have to patch them up.
Yeah.
But
So
I think that's definitely the last episodes, the last 2 episodes.
yeah, that's the last like episode or two. Because they're going through all the craziness, and then that's when they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, guys, the war is over," and we're like, "They're like, but is it? But is it?" And I think that's a constant joke too that happens.
They've gone through so many times where the peace talks are going on, and they're gonna sign the peace treaty any day now, and 2 years later they're still there, right? So kind of one of those, take it with a little bit of salt until it's actually announced. I don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't want to get their hopes up. But I'm going to put on another short one. I'm going to put this one.
Ever get the feeling there's a war going on?
There's always a war going on. War is the world's favorite spectator sport. Who needs more skin sutures?
Well, everybody knows war is hell. Remember, you heard it here last.
War isn't hell. War is war and hell is hell. And of the two, war is a lot worse.
How do you figure that, Hawkeye?
Easy, Father. Tell me, who goes to hell?
Sinners, I believe.
Exactly. There are no innocent bystanders in hell. The war is chock full of them. Little kids, cripples, old ladies. In fact, except for a few of the brass, almost everybody involved is an innocent bystander.
Well, I'm not. I'm here because my country needs me. I didn't know it wasn't just some excuse to ship you 8,000 miles from home.
Yeah, the Korean War was invented so your parents wouldn't come looking for you.
You're a sickos.
I love how they always fucking with him.
Yeah, the Frank Burns always gets the short end of the stick on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy Hawkeye does have a point too. From his point of view, like he said, like who goes to hell? The sinners, people who are doing evil. Like who goes to war? Who are the victims in war? You got innocent bystanders. You got 17, 18-year-olds fresh out of It's worse in many aspects. Like it's one thing for a sinner to be sent to hell. It's another thing for an innocent bystander to get blown up and their arms and legs ripped off.
Yeah, especially because a lot of them didn't want to go; they were forced.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of them were having mental breakdowns. Yeah, but it was the draft. Yeah, you had to go, and it was. You had your people who were like, I can't wait to be a part of my country. But I think my issue too with Hot Lips and fucking what's his name, like, and this, and that guy, of course, like they're just so. I don't know. Like, I get they want to get up on the ranks and stuff like that, but there's like real shit going on around them, and they're just like, "This is war. Like, I don't care. Like, it is what it is." And I'm like, "Can you? Where's your soul with this?"
Right. It's like Honeycutt when he said in one of the documentary episodes where they had reporters come and interview them, that he was like, "Oh well, how about the military life?" Like I'm not military. I mean, misassigned civilian.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to come here. I'm not in the military. I'm a civilian who got drafted. I'm a misassigned civilian.
Yeah, that's it. So let's see here. I have we could do Winchester. Huh?
Winchester.
Yeah, we could do Winchester, or we can do when he's in when Hawkeye is in the hospital.
Let's do Winchester first, because the other one's closer to the ending.
Yeah.
I will take him second. What else you got? This POW over here.
Wait a minute.
He was in the back of the truck when it was hit.
Explain this a little bit before, because they're not going to know.
Okay, so this is off finale. Before this, it's funny because before this and earlier in the episode, the latrine actually got destroyed. So they've been having to go to like the river to, use the river as, to relieve themselves. So in this episode, he had to go bad, and he ended up finding some North Korean soldiers who surrendered to him. Turns out that they're actually musicians. They're an orchestra. So they get penned up, they're given food and water and medical. And since the armistice was signed, they were supposed to be traded for American soldiers captured by the North. So with the final battles and everything that was going on, they ended up having to come back. They were actually injured. So this is him actually. The other side note on that, Winchester's a big opera fan.
Classical.
So he was trying to actually teach them. I think it was one of
Mozart to be a classical orchestra, and they're actually very talented. And he's a very snooty. He thinks he's better.
Oh, he's a snob.
He's the snob. He thinks he's better than everybody else. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's a Boston high society type.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he tries to teach them, and that when they actually get taken away from the camp, they're actually playing the piece that he taught him.
Exactly.
He was trying to teach them. So we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Half his chest is gone. Does he even have a pulse?
Oh, God. No.
Is there anything we can do for him, Doctor? Doctor?
He wasn't even a soldier. He was a musician.
What happened to the other people in the truck with him?
He's the only one that made it this far.
Major, we have to prep the others. Why don't you take a break?
You want to see agitated?
Yeah. So it went from later on in that episode when they're asked what they take from their experience there. He goes on to say that for him that music was a refuge for him to keep him sane and to keep him going. And now the music that he loves so much is going to be a reminder of all the hellish things that he had to go through and deal with there. So his actual character arc is actually really well developed from day one when he shows up to the final episode. That's definitely one of the hard hitting. They really went all out with the final episode because they tied up a lot of the storylines.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I would say I want to say this might be one of the first series that didn't have a lot of plot holes, but also could you really have a lot of plot holes in this situation? But acting top tier, progression of many of the characters top tier. And it's not how they change usually for the better or they just change entirely. Hot Lips has always been Hot Lips. She was like, look, I can go to another officer and another colonel or another whoever, because I am who I am. I'm good at my job and I can get the ranks I want because I want to be married to the military. She never changed that about herself. She progressed in being touching with other moments, but in the beginning she was whiny as hell. She's like, nobody likes me. Shut up. You're in the war.
At the time, like the first 4 to 5 seasons, she was just on Burns' nuts and just pretty much going with whatever he said. So
yeah,
Burns was not one of the most favorite characters in the series. So if nobody liked him, they weren't gonna like her. So
exactly. So, all right. So this one is a very, very hard episode. Trigger warning: there is death in this conversation. He's reliving a moment. Hawkeye is going through a mental breakdown.
right, this is the beginning of the last episode, the last 2 episodes. Basically, it jumps into him already being at their version of a psychiatric hospital, and he's still in denial of what happened, of what actually happened.
Yeah.
But like the first hour of the episode of the finale, it's just basically, they're setting up the whole, the peace talks are going, but it's more of the trauma that Hawkeye suffered and them trying to get him, through it, basically.
Yeah. And I think also to add to this scene, Honeycutt comes and talks to him and says, BJ, I'm sorry, BJ. No, BJ Honeycutt.
Yeah, BJ Honeycutt.
Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes like certain characters, they change so quickly in the show. But anywho, he comes and tells him like, hey, I actually got leave to go home.
Well, he doesn't actually tell him.
Yeah, I know, but that was his goal for being there.
Yeah, he went to try to tell him because he didn't want to leave, but he, saw the state of mind, the mind frame that he was still in, and decided not to tell him there. Because then he actually tries to leave a note.
You want to see
agitated?
Agitated?
Can't even leave a note because it's too much stuff.
Exactly. And the love they have for each other, because like they're arm in arm pretty much.
Oh yeah.
The whole time, especially when he comes into play, Honeycutt comes into play. But anywho, let's do it.
Aggravated, infuriated. You want to see agitated? I can be aggravated, infuriated, frustrated, vexated, and irritated.
Maybe Hawkeye and I should talk alone for a while.
Yeah, that's good. When do we do that? Go. What are you waiting for?
I don't know. I just thought there might be something we wanted to say to each other before I left.
So tell me the next time you see me. I'm not going to be here forever. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you.
You want to tell me what you and BJ were talking about?
Same thing he always talks about.
What's that?
Fingers, smiles, teeth, booties.
Was there anything about that you found upsetting?
I find upsetting is being in here. I want you to get me out of here. I don't care how you do it. You can put me on a plane, on a train, on a bus, on a slow boat to China. I'll go out on a mouse-drawn chariot. I don't care what.
A bus, huh?
Again with the bus? Why don't you subscribe to Arizona Highways and leave me alone?
It's more fun with you.
And really pay attention.
Keep that damn chicken quiet.
Then what happened?
And I went back toward the front of the bus.
And what happened next?
There's something wrong with it. It stopped making noise. It just stopped. She killed it. She killed it.
She killed the chicken?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I didn't mean for her to kill it. I just wanted it to be quiet. It was a baby. She smothered her own baby. You son of a bitch. Why did you make me remember that?
You had to get it out in the open. Now we're halfway home.
Yeah, it's a very intense scene.
Heavy.
You know, the setup to that was they had the day off and they went to the beach. A group of them. They actually ended up finding some refugees that were coming down, and they got them on the bus. And a contingent from North Korea was actually a patrol was catching up to them, that they were tracking the refugees. So they hit the bus and they tried to be quiet, and then they kept getting closer, and then the baby kept crying. So he blocked it out as not even it being a baby, that it was a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Until finally he got pushed enough to actually admit what happened. It's very
Exactly.
it's an intense episode. Like I said, they didn't pull any punches whatsoever on the finale.
Oh yeah, because they really wanted. So what's really great about like the last few episodes for the finale as well is, there was a scene, or there was like a little arc, I guess you could say, about the excuse me, a documentary crew coming in, which kind of touched base of the real life situations that they were going through. So it wasn't just like cutesy, we're so great, we love being here. It went to the raw situation. And of course, going to Hawkeye, especially, he don't play games. Like, he's always real about shit. And he's just like, and it's funny because all he does is play games and does fucking shenanigans. But that's his way of coping, we realize. And they always put that challenge on him. I don't know, maybe because he's also the show's favorite. I don't know. But it'll be a situation where they're just like, oh, aren't you happy to be here? And just like bringing up to what you were saying, he was like, I wasn't meant to be here. I was forced to be here. He was like, if I was any other doctor, they wouldn't fucking want me to be here. I was like, I wouldn't need to be here. And he's always like challenging the fact that it's supposed to be some good, wonderful time, that they deal with so much traumatic situations that he himself tried to push away. And I think, honestly, the rawness of the show, that's what really made me fall in love with the show. Because, like I said, you know, dramas, comedies, all that stuff, like, you really get everything from this. Especially, like, their happy moments, you feel so good when they had, like, when Padre, I don't have that clip either, but, like, Padre goes blind towards the end. Or no, hearing. It's his hearing, right?
Yeah, there was an explosion or something, and it messed with his hearing, and he's slowly going deaf. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want to leave the children behind because he's a big advocate for the local orphanage. So you see him trying to deal with that, and people trying to help him, like, cover up the fact that he's actually injured to the point where he has to be sent home. And they're actually trying to make sure he doesn't leave because he doesn't want to leave. Mm-hmm. But like you were saying, with Hawkeye, between him and BJ and that documentary episodes that they do, they touch on the basis of how the depression that everybody's in at points where you have to literally isolate yourself from everybody else in order to, like, just survive. Because the way he explains it is, if you get so drawn into somebody else, into trying to help somebody else out of their depression, it's going to drag you into their depression, and you're going to become a victim of it. So you have to kind of like use a mental anesthesia and just, okay, everybody's depressed, and just not look at it.
Yeah.
BJ, I know he said on that same episode that before he got to Korea, he couldn't walk down a hallway with blood. Like, any situation where there was blood. and now he can go through it like nothing. Like he doesn't even see the blood anymore.
Yeah.
It's very like it. Like if you watch the series through, it's very you'll get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I've watched it at least 5 times.
Yeah.
At least 5 times myself.
Yeah, I remember like watching it as a kid with my stepdad and my granddad. And mind you, I'm a kid, and like I don't give a crap about this. But honestly, the intro was a bop. The theme, that's my
It
jam.
got me with just sarcasm.
Oh yeah,
Just between the whole cast, just the sarcastic, quick wit.
Yeah.
Like that's what gets me.
Exactly.
That's
Especially
what I blame my smart ass mouth. I watched that when I was
fucking smart ass. Yeah, maybe that's where it came from. Maybe the show, the essence gave it to you that way.
Yeah, that's pretty much between that and one of the like a couple of the other shows that was on at the time. You know, they didn't hold nothing back. Like them and Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Like that's like pure sarcasm to the max.
Yeah.
Like
no, definitely.
You watch them, like you'll learn how to be a smart ass.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to this show, like for anybody, like okay, let's be real about this. I always thought this was a white person show when I was growing up. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. I can't relate to this. I don't see anybody that's me in this show. I think they sprinkled, one or two black individuals. One of them was named Ginger. I think the woman was named Ginger and the male was named Leroy. I was doing my research.
They actually had a character named in as they called him Spear Trucker.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Okay, and be mindful, guys. We're not saying this is the best show when it comes to representation, because even like Klinger is a character who was trying to go back home. He was trying to get discharged by trying to convince the whole platoon or the whole unit that he was a woman. To confirm that he's crazy again, and that's kind of hurtful, right? Because there are people who identify blah blah blah. But
right. Well, you got to remember too, the time when this was set, it was still before the Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yeah.
So if anything, like they were still big on that. Okay, if if they found out you were, homosexual or a cross-dresser or anything like that, they would kick you out of the military.
They would kick you out.
That was this whole shit. Like,
but they would not let him leave. They were just like,
no, because deep down they really knew. Okay, we know you're not really a cross-dresser. That you're not this, and you're just trying to get a ticket out. That's it.
Yeah. So, but like his progression was pretty good because he winds up marrying. Well, first of all, he was in love with his wife. His wife leaves him.
Then she comes back,
and then he gets and then he gets married to a Korean woman, and he stays in Korea at the end.
And that's the funny part about the at the ending too. Like, okay, and he says to himself, "Well, I can't believe it. Like, I'm actually staying in Korea."
Yeah.
And they even joke about it, like, if I didn't know better, I'd give you that Section 8 now because you're nuts. Like, if I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, you've been trying to get out for all these years, and now we're all leaving, and you want to stay.
Yep. And I think, but yeah, just to go back to what I was saying, like, watch this show. If you love history, if you love drama, if you love great, amazing masterclass acting, this is a show that you would do, because like I said, even rewatching these clips with you guys, I was tearing up because you see their emotion and their hurt and their pain, even in their silence. And that's what's beautiful about it. You can feel the rage, and it's such a good show to get into. Again, if you love history, if you love drama, if you love medical stuff, if you love anything about the Korean War. Again, I can't really go if it's 100% accurate. I'm not into doing it. I just enjoy shows. But I would definitely say give it a try.
In their I think like 30 or 40 year reunion episode that they did, that the way they actually set up like the surgical rooms and the medical lingo they used it's all accurate.
Yeah.
So like they went to like fine detail to like make it as accurate as possible.
Yeah. Well, again, like you said, I just don't want to ever, make an ass or a liar out of myself because I don't know that. And like I said, they could say that for the finale, you know what I mean, for the reunion, but like there's still certain things because there's still a lot of like behind the scene dramas apparently that shit was happening.
Right. There's always in every show.
There's always something. But all in all, like this was a really good series. What would you rate this series? I would say personally, me 10 out of 10. I would rewatch. I am rewatching it again, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely top 5 all time series for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I'll randomly watch it. If I'm scrolling through the channels and it's on, I'll always stop to watch it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, if you watch it, you'll get into it just for the sheer audacity. Because some of the shit, like in season 1, that Hawkeye and Trapper were pulling was just outrageous. Like shit that should have got them kicked out of the military. But then with their, surgical ability, how good they were as doctors, that's,
have free reign.
They got leeway.
Yeah. And like I said, it is what it is. But real talk, guys, watch the show. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, you definitely won't be disappointed.
You won't There's no bad episode. There's no bad episode. It gets slow sometimes, but it's still not bad because there's still a storyline. Anything them involving civilians is always great. Like I think the Christmas, I guess what would be called their Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Which they got
a couple of Christmas episodes that really like the one we seen the other day where it was Christmas Eve day. They were Hawkeye got dressed up as Santa Claus, full big belly, white beard, the whole 9, giant red suit. They get a call from a battalion aid station where soldiers got hit in the chest and they need to get operated on immediately. And they have to send Hawkeye. He's their best chest guy.
Yeah.
So, and I was joking around because, okay, if you're the guy that got shot, you're the soldier that got shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look up and you see a freaking fat guy in a red suit fucking shimmying down from a helicopter with freaking bullets flying everywhere. You're gonna sit there and you're like, what the? Am I alive? Like, is this really happening? There's a giant fat guy coming down the fucking ring and trying to save me. Like, and then he does get down and patch him up. So at the end of the day, like, you can go back and say, like, Santa Claus saved my life.
Yeah. I think like his comrade was saying that to him. He was like, could you believe that Santa Claus is alive? Like, mind you, trying to keep light. They're in the middle of a hole getting shot at. They are surrounded. Right. Hawkeye is coming down from the sky, getting shot at because guess what? In a room, in a fucking environment full of nature, he's a big red target. And he's just like low-key dodging it. He's like, well, gotta go. And you just see him going down.
Yeah, he's just coming down like everybody's in camo with green fatigues and everybody's camouflage. And okay, here's Santa Claus, big red suit, big ass belly, shimmying down a fucking ladder in the middle of the sky. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like,
it's crazy.
It's a giant target.
But
yeah, they always try to do that. They always try to. Well, that was like the personality of him and BJ. Too, like no matter like what the situation was, they could always figure out a way to make a joke about it or to not make it, to make it a light situation, regardless of what was going on. Because sometimes you just need that tension breaker.
Exactly.
Because we all get into situations and tensions are running hot, and you just need somebody to say something stupid.
Yeah.
It'll diffuse the situation a little. So I think that's really what they did a lot. Like I said, the writing for that show was impeccable.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we're about to wrap up. Jose, where can they find you? Also.
Okay, so right now I believe we're actually streaming on YouTube for the first time. We finally got the YouTube up, OsoTalksPod. We got the Instagram, Also Talks Podcast, the Facebook, the Twitch, which is JG Clone 83. I haven't changed it yet to Also Talks, but that's mine, and that's the one we go live on there as well. What can I say? Thank you for being here. Go to the YouTube channel, please. Like, subscribe.
Tell your friends about it.
Send it to, if you know anybody that likes Smash or any of the other episodes we have on there, send it to your friends, word of mouth so we can get more followers. Really appreciate it. I actually actually have to thank Terry because me and him were talking about the podcast because he's watching. And one of the other guys, I believe he's a new hire, overheard, and he was like, "Oh, we started talking about, apparently he's a big anime fan." I told him, like, "Oh, we do anime, sci-fi, pretty much anything we can think of." So he went on and checked out the page. Hopefully, he followed. But just word of mouth, trying to get spread.
But I would definitely say,
like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna do more Halloween themed stuff in October. Definitely gonna have some crazy stories because I know I remember a couple from childhood. So definitely gonna do that.
But also, just to interject, if you love the content, hate the content, something, we're not gonna know until you tell us. So tell us, let us know. Also, Blanco, it's a new show, right? It's a new show. We love it. But he's also connected to, and his connections are with, of course, Sexually Speaking Podcast, which is a kinky conversation show. We also talk about other things that are related to what he talks about. So that's great. And then, of course, you have the Nymphs of Lore Book Podcast he's also connected to. We're a big family over here. We're always, trust me, there is a line of people who want to work with him and give him your flowers. You're doing great, buddy. I'm proud of you. I'm doing good because now you have enough followers that you're on Twitch.
I know a lot of it's because of you because you're really hooked into the scene. So I really appreciate your help with all this. So.
I know, of course, but it's all you, bro. It's like, again, I can only do what I can do, and it's not much. Like, honestly, I'm just cute. That's it. I'm just like, I think you guys should watch this show, and they're like, bet. They're like, bet you're gonna be on it, and then they get mad. Well, they don't get mad, but then I realize, guys, I'm not the host because I'm a co-host on the other shows. So it's like when they realize I'm not a host here, which is fine. I do not want to be a host. I am happy just being his helper and his conversation person. But Jose is the main host. This is his show. He's rocking out, and we love that. I can't wait to talk about the Halloween stuff. I want to talk about candy. I want to talk about Puerto Rican food. I want to talk about all that because you also just went to Puerto Rico, so we definitely want to see some pictures from that too. So let's not get crazy. Let's tell everybody.
I really didn't do a lot of pictures. I had one video. I think I still have it on my face, on my personal.
Oh, that's lame.
That's
crazy.
I mean, because I just did, I just went and spent time with my dad and my stepmom and grandmother. Yeah. So it wasn't really one of those vacations where it was, run around and party and drink and stuff like that. It was more just, spend some quality time.
It was a relaxing vacation. But anyway, guys, you can find me as Miss Giselle on all social media platforms. Anything 18 plus kinky related is going to be Obey Miss J. And of course, my shows that are going to be Sexually Speaking. Again, all 18 plus. Don't come into my John with like some craziness. Yes, we talk about dicks, titties, and everything in between. I'm not going to. Don't be surprised, bro. Don't be surprised. But anyway, also thank you for having me today. This episode was amazing. I love MASH. I'm actually going to probably watch some episodes later. And that's it. I'm signing off with that. How about you? Anything else you want to say to the audience?
Stay tuned for next week. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see what we're going to come up with. It's definitely going to be Halloween themed.
Oh, yeah, Halloween.
But we'll be back Monday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, on all of it.
Yeah.
Any questions or promotions or anything like that, send me a message on any of these. Might take a little time to reply back, but we'll definitely get back to y'all.
Oh, definitely. Well, it was an honor. It was an honor. It was a blessing. Let's keep rocking out. Have a good one, guys.
Gosta de fazer orgia, outra novinha que tá na volanda. Gosta de fazer orgia, você tá em cima da piroca, 24 horas por dia. Ela se declara por cima da tudo. novinha que tá na bolanda, gosta de fazer orgia, fica sentando em cima da